was like I would say I already take around five team leader opportunity in ISAC, and somehow it realized me that one of the key champion when you want to shape or you want to have a great team, it's on the communication itself. So I hope that by joining this session, it can add your knowledge and also you can practice it with your team. Okay. And then the session objective is to make delegates are able to demonstrate their ability to communicate their idea effectively. And then the last one is develop a mindset to associate with different communication approach of different people. Like, yeah, because we know that our team consists of different people and different persona is in it. So that's why you need to have this kind of things. And then the expectation setting is be proactive, effective, and engage virtually because I don't want to be like radio anchor right now. So I hope that you can help me by giving your support by was like type or sharing your ideas or opinion when I try to engage you. Okay, and then before we start the session, I will play a video, and I hope that you can really put attention on the video because in this video you will find something that really cool. Okay, so I will start the video now.
That's on video.
Okay. All right. So let's have Matthew then start.
Go, Matt.
I can do this next time. What? Okay, no, so you have to go.
What?
Oh, my head hurts.
Oh my god. Oh no. I don't know. Wait, what was the second? Ah, crap, I forgot it.
No talking.
Really?
Okay. So what do you think it is? Okay. And let me get a picture of what the word was or the sentence was.
Okay. So yeah, you see the video, right?
That's on video.
So here I would like to I have like three green question for you. So I hope that was it like you can share your thoughts with me. So the first one is what you find interesting from the video. Is there anyone?
Okay.
Hello, my
Hi.
name is Dewi Nabil Anwar from ISAC in Surabaya, Indonesia. So, what
Ooh.
video is that every single person make different moves so that everyone also can understand the move differently from each other.
Okay,
Yeah, so
cool. Thank you, Dewi. And then I have from Nanda, people interpret some things differently. Okay, cool. And then is there anyone else? What's something that you find
So when
interesting from the
you're communicating with people, can I go?
Hi, yeah, sure. Can you introduce yourself and then let me know your opinion?
Yeah, sure. So hi, I am Dipi from ISIC in Kathmandu. I am the LCVPCX of Kathmandu, and so what I think is usually what happens is the communication gap or the communication flow can go differently than how you expect between people. So the whisper game can be really really is confusing for people at times. Yeah, that's.
Wow, thank you very much. And I have one from Jacob. People only see action but don't understand their intention, so message gets more and more diluted. That's cool. Okay, so yeah, that's something that you can find from the video. And then, in your opinion, why the real message is not well delivered from first person to the last person?
Can I go?
Yeah, sure.
I think it's okay. So my name is Muhammad Abdullah. I'm the LCVP CX from Isaac in Nast, Pakistan. And the reason that
CX,
real message
CX.
so the real reason that the message is not delivered well is because every person has different way of communicating their ideas to other people. So if one person is really he's very, what should I say, he's comprehensive in explaining his ideas, but the other person, he might not be that comprehensive. So there is a difference there.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Abdullah. Is there anyone else that want to guess?
Yeah, I want to share. So
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Niharika from Isaac and DU India. I'm the
Wow.
LCVP TM. So I think why the same message was not delivered till the last person is because I think everybody did not observe very well. So if we see that there were times when people actually changed, in the beginning, the first two people did act as if they were falling, but then the other three people, they acted as if they were touching their feet. Then that changed. So when the observer does not observe the communicator very well, and they
Mhm.
don't observe everything very well, so that is when they comprehend something completely different. So observation is important when you're communicating or the conversation is going on.
Wow, cool. Thank you very much.
This is Abdullah from Isaac in Islamabad. So
Okay.
I'm local committee vice president for Outgoing Global Volunteer. And what I think is that every person has their own way of communicating, has their own way of explaining things, and not just that, they also have like some actions and body language with that too. So when the observer is not able to judge all of that and communicate effectively to other,
Mhm.
so that might create some differences and problems.
I see. I see. Thank you very much. That's cool. I think you already got the point from the video. And then when we see the video, we can have an inference that the communication in the video is not going effectively because the key message is not well delivered from one person to another person. So at the end of the conversation, when the last person start to guess what's the real meaning of the message, he cannot guess it clearly. Okay, and that's something that we can diagnose if the communication in that group is not going effectively. But I want to know, in your opinion, what do you know about effective communication, and what's the bottleneck that you find to make it exist in your team?
Okay, so to make it more transparent, to make it more effective, we should be focusing on that the communication should be more transparent between the people it should be communicated on. Like if
Mhm.
there should be any communication delivered to exchange participant from host and home side, so it should be of a same level and it should not be different.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. One last person.
Can I go?
Okay, sure.
I'm Carla from LCVP ETM from ASEC in Davao, which is in the Philippines. Um, for
Yes.
me, effective communication is when um, a communicator relays his information properly, and
Mhm.
then the listener would actively listen to what the message is really about.
Mhm.
The bottlenecks in effective communication is when the listener has a different interpretation with
Yeah.
what the message actually is, and then
Mhm.
when the listener who differently interpreted the message would relay it to another person, just like what
Mhm.
happened in the video,
Mhm.
they would not go with the original message, or they will stray
Mhm.
away from the original message. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's it.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you very much. That's true. Okay. Because like you mentioned that when we having a communication, there will be like a lot of interpretation that can be was it like can be got in the conversation, isn't it? And it can lead the misunderstanding in the conversation. So the objective of effective communication is not well achieved when we create the communication itself. And this is the thing that I was like that I got and I learned from the effective communication. When you want to establish effective communication in your team, there will be like two main points that you need to have. Uh, as a sender of the message and also the receiver of the message itself. So the first one, it's a clear information. Yeah, because like the KPI that you want to get for effective communication is to reduce the misunderstanding and also to deliver your key message, isn't it? So you want to achieve that things, you need to ensure that you will have or you can be able to provide clear information to your sender. And then as a receiver, you need to have a skill to be active listening because was it like we are living in a area in a era that not everyone can be able to demonstrate active listening. Somehow people is just listen but they don't really pay attention on it, and as a leader you need to really have ability to be active listening. And when we're talking about the effective communication and the chance of having the misunderstanding, so I found a theory that called for bigs and for ears. And in this theory, we can find that the misunderstanding they have like art on it. So that way we call it like the art of misunderstanding. And why the misunderstanding have an art? Because when we send a message to a person, so there will be like four main points that consist on a message itself. The first one is factual information. Factual information means that the fact or the data or the real message that you want to deliver to your receiver. And then the second one is appeal. Appeal means that what is it like? It's more into like an advice, instruction, or command that you want to deliver to your communication partner. And then the third one is relationship. Relationship means that what is it like? It represents the relation between you and the sender itself. And then the last one is self revelation or the emotion when you delivering the message. Why this kind of things that it can lead to the misunderstanding? Because in the first one on the appeal, when you don't really know how to form your comment or instruction in a good way, or you can like directly insult them, and when they got insulted, somehow your communication will be misunderstanding. And then about the relationship, when you are very close with the communication partner, let's say there was like this communication partner is your best friend, it will help you to deliver a better condition to your partner. But when it's person was it like a person that not really know you well, when you are talking in a high note or talking in a lower note, people will get a different message from you. And then the last one is self-revelation. Self-revelation is more into like the emotion that you deliver to them. Let's say when the people still feeling sad or feel overwhelmed, and then you ask them a direct message, somehow people will feel insult and getting misunderstanding with you. And then after that, eh, why there is okay, never mind. Wait a minute. Eh. Okay, so to make it more easy for you to digest the theory that I give to you, so in here I have a case study. So the first one is a sender. A sender is a volunteer helper, a volunteer helper, a female, 60 years old, and the receiver is an asylum seeker, male, 23 years old. And in this kind of condition, the sender asks to the receiver, did you go to the employment agency? Okay, so please always remember the sender is a volunteer helper and the receiver is an asylum seeker. And then the sender asks to the receiver, did you go to the employment agency? And then the key message that delivered by the senders is consists of the four main part that I already delivered to you. In the factual information, actually the sender want to know whether the asylum seeker going to the agency, the employment agency or not. And then in the self-revelation, there will be like was it like the sender more wants to get informed on the activities of the receiver. And then in the relationship, actually the sender is scared about this person because they want to know his activity. Or she also want to was like to really know she's really interested with the activities of the receiver. That's why she asks this kind of question. And then on the appeal, it's more into like the key message that we want to deliver by sender is asking the receiver to go to the employment agency so the receiver can get a better job. And then as a receiver, this is something that we can predict to be happen when the receiver get this kind of message. Actually, like he knows that the factual information is the sender wants to know if the receiver went to employment agency or not. And then in the revelation, which is the emotion that wants to deliver in this key message is there will be like two what's like possibilities. The first one is he wants to be informed, or the second one is she is impatient because maybe these asylum seekers it takes a long time to get a job. And then in the relationship, because let's say the receiver is not have a bond with the sender, somehow it can be something that can turns this communication into misunderstanding because he will interpret this sender as someone that was like thinking that he's lazy, or this sender give an order to the receiver to was it like immediately having a job, or actually she's scared with the receiver. So it depends on the relationship that whether it belong to the receiver and senders. And then on the appeal, it's more into like the what is it like the order that wants to deliver from the sender to the receiver, which is like go to the employment agency so you can get a job, isn't it? So if the receiver is not having a good communication or having not a good relationship with the sender, the most possible things that the receiver can get is was it like the sender is trying so hard to push the receiver to get a job immediately. So that's why in here he can reply this is not your business as something like as a defensive things to the sender because he don't want to be was it like to be insult, kind of like that. And then by these kind of things, we can know that every conversation carries a huge potential of misunderstanding. It can depends on your relationship. It depends on how you deliver the message. It was it like in a high note or in a lower note, and then was it like in the other hand, it's more into like how's the condition when you delivering the message. When the people seems are not in the right condition, and then you give them a task or was it like a comment, somehow your message will be misinterpreted or misunderstood by the receiver, isn't it? So yeah, that's the art of the misunderstanding. So that's why you know right now that every message that you deliver to other people contains was like huge potential to be misunderstood. It doesn't mean that your partner is very sensitive. So your message can be wrong interpreted by your partner, or it's you that was like very direct that can lead to your conversation become something that be misunderstanding. No, it because like every message contain potential to be misunderstanding. So that's why you need to really know how to deliver your message so your message can be well delivered and the receiver can get what you mean in your was it like in your communication. So that's why in here we have the essence of communication skill. As a leader, I think it can was something that become obligatory for you to really understand on how to demonstrate the essence of communication skill itself, physically and virtually. Why? Because I think like this five things not only like can be implemented in a physical communication but also virtual communication. The first one is complete. Complete means that you are providing a detailed information and also consider any possible question. And then in the clear, it's more into like give a clear output that you want to get by having this kind of conversation. If you want was it someone to do something, so you need to state on it. And then the third one is be concise. Concise means that you are avoiding irrelevant theory or example to other people, so they can really get what your point. And then stick to the key of message that you want to was it like your communication partner wants to get by having this kind of conversation with you. And then be considerate. Be considerate is more into like understand the condition and the situation. Like what I said before, if the receiver isn't was like not in a good condition to get a comment, maybe you can start with a small or a slow communication, and then maybe you can have a small talks before, and after the receiver is engaged with you, you can directly going to the something that you want to this receiver to do. Or if the condition of the receiver is really good, maybe you can strict directly to the order or to the suggestion that you can do. And then and the last thing is more is become courteous. Be courteous means that was it like you need to put respect and you need to give some recognition to your communication partner. Let's say you are a leader and you communicate with your team member. If your team member can do was like your direction really well, you need to appreciate them because he or she can get the key message from your communication or from your instruction. You got what I mean, right? Okay, cool. And then in the next step, as a good leader, like what I said before, you're not only was it need to be good when delivering something, but you need to also be good at listening. So that's why in here I would like to suggest you and I would like to guide you to have the skill of active listening. Active listening means that you are able to be 100% present to listen and to understand what your communication partner is want to deliver to you. So you really understand on the point that she or he wants to deliver to you. And in here, I have a three main point that you can try to practice every time when your team member or your communication partner try to communicate with you. I think that it will be not easy. Even like for me as MCVP, it's still not easy for me to do active listening because like when people comes to me to talk or to discuss, somehow like there will be like a lot of distraction in my head. So I think was like even though like you are the LCVP or the LCP or even like even I believe that PAI still try to to demonstrate active listening in their daily basis. So let's start with the empathic understanding. Empathic understanding means that you need to always put yourself in other people's shoes because by doing this thing you can show your respect and also your empathy to other people. And then somehow it will be help you to really digest what kind of things that this receiver wants to deliver to you, so you can really get the emotion of your sender. And then the second one is listening is not always agreeing. For me, as someone that get a challenge from other people's problem, somehow I need to really hold myself to not going to solution that I can offer to them, because some people just approach you because they want to be listened, not getting any advice or any instruction after that, because they just want to be listened. They want just to share their opinion or emotion and so on. So that's why listening is not always agreeing. So you better to like hold yourself to give a lot of advice, because at that point you need to ensure that these people wants to get advice or not, because somehow if you're not clarify this thing and directly giving an advice, people will thinking that you want to be their teacher, or they want to be their parents, but actually like they don't want to get that kind of things. And then the last one is be willing and ready to listen. In here, I would say it's very important for you to be really honest to your communication partner, because when you are not in a good condition, and then there's someone that going to you to be to share their story, or they want to be listened, and if you are not in a good condition, so you better to avoid that kind of things. So maybe you can tell to this person, if your condition is not really well right now, it will was like hard for you to get the point. So maybe you can like reschedule that kind of things, or you can ask the receiver or your partner to talk to other people, so maybe another people can get the point better. So far, do you get what I mean?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you, people. Okay, going to the next. And then maybe right now you are considering, or you start to figure out, okay, I should have a skill to build a good communication. And then after that, I need to have a skill to be active listening. But how can I build an effective communication system in a diverse system, in a diverse team? Because I believe that your EB or your team member, there consists of a lot of personas, a lot of personality, a lot of background, like a different background and so on. And this kind of things will be the challenge of you to to ensure that effective communication is really happen in your team. So this is my story. This is my team when I was the LCVP. And then these 5 people actually are very diverse personality. They have a different expectation towards me, like each other. And then their diverse capability, let's say like there's someone that very fast to learn something, and then there's someone that very slow to digest something, and then they have like a diverse pace of work. Some people is very fast to do something, but some people need to was a long time to execute something. And the last one is they have a different emotional intelligence. Like for one people, they are not easy to be insulted, but other people, they're very easy to be insulted with like let's say like when I raise my voice, these people can be insulted like that easy. So was like this kind of condition give me a challenge to handle this kind of communication. And after I told you about the effective communication consists of 2 things, which is like clear information and active listening. So in here, I have something that you need to have, which is you need to understand your communication style and your member communication style. Because by understanding these kind of things, you will be able to positioning yourself to your member, and also your member can have a better expectation towards you, so you can make the communication in your team really good. Okay, now I will tell you a little bit about the 4 communication style, and then after this I will ask you to analyze which style that you are very suitable. Okay, when I let's say for me, I'm more into like the influencer, but it doesn't mean that I cannot be dominant, or I cannot be very steady. It depends on the situation. But I can say that myself is influencer is more into like in the daily basis, I'm the influencer. You get the point, right? So it doesn't mean that you cannot be dominant or you cannot be steady. No, but it's more into like you in the basic life. And then different condition will maybe ask you to change your style of communication. Okay, so I will start with the dominant itself. Dominant means that this kind of person have a very fast pace when they're working. They want to take a control of the situation, and they are very was it goal oriented. So the things that you need to do if you have a team member or teammate with this kind of style, you need to be clear and was it like provide a fast and precise was it like direction or communication to them. You need to skip small talk before, because like maybe they don't really like small talk, and then you need to supply them with a concrete data and a clear direction. So was that the message that you will deliver to them will be well delivered. And then going to the conscious is more into like was like very deliberate with the choice, and they will do weighing on the pros and cons because they don't want to take a risk. And then after that, they are very perfectionist by nature. So you don't what is that? So you don't need to push them, because like weighing the pros and cons and thinking very far is their ability. And then how to communicate with this kind of person is more into like be well prepared with the was it like a lot of questions that might be asked by this person, and then give the space to think, because was it like this kind of person is not really good in the fast pace, and then you don't need to hurry them, and then avoid a small talk, because was it like they prefer to put everything on writing, so they can really ensure everything. And then in the study it's more into like this person is more into put logic first, and then they're very systematic to work and need time to process, and they really value the process itself, because they want to make a perfect decision. And then was it like the things that you need to do on how to communicate with them is you need to make your communication or the situation become more fun, motivate them with the price, and then be slowing down when you want to criticize them. And then the last one, which is me, the influencer. Influencer is more into like we are the person that value the interpersonal relation. We are very loyal, but at the same moment we are conflict avoider, and we value reliability and sincerity. And the things that you need to do when you want to communicate with this kind of person is don't ever push them in the corner, like just don't blame them, and then be warm, and at the same moment like you need to reduce their fear by having clear explanation, because this kind of person was it like more into like having a strong self insecurity. And that's why do you get my explanation, or is there anything that you want to ask before? Because after this I will ask you to assess yourself. You get the point, right? Okay, so for dominant, it's more into like the people. So I already give you the point in here. So dominant is more into like really fast in a working system. They want to take a control of the situation. They are very goal oriented, and to be communicate with them, you need to be clear. You need to be very fast. You need to be precise. Please avoid a small talk and supply them with the data. So actually, like this kind of person that very excitable, but at the same moment they are task oriented. Okay. Okay. So the differentiate between influencer and steady. Steady is more into like I would say like, because in here you see the diagram, isn't it? Like they are excitable and even kill, and people oriented and task oriented. Influencer is more into like having a high energy to do something, to communicate, but at the same moment they are also people oriented. But at the same moment, for steady, they're more into like a slowing down. They want to analyze first. They value the process and so on. Okay. No, there will be. I think like so far, I don't think that there's an online test on it. But I think that's something that really good with this kind of thing, because you will try to assess yourself by yourself. So it will give a chance for you to understand yourself. Okay. Cool. Next, it's more into like the output of understanding the communication style. It's more into like by understanding your communication style and your team communication style first, you will have a better engagement system to your team or to your member, and then better communication output and reduce the internal conflict. And the third one is establish an effective communication and increase the operation efficiency. Yes, because by was it like understanding the communication style of each person and yourself, you will be able to, okay, with this kind of person I will be like this, with this kind of person I will be like this, and me as a person I will like was it like having a better understanding of myself, so I can avoid to be like easy to be insulted. You get the point, right? Okay. Next, I would like to go to the because in the night I already sent you the email, no? So please go into the sheet that I already give to you, and now you have small exercise to analyze your communication style, and then you need to analyze your team communication style, and I will give you like 10 minutes to do it. Okay. Okay, cool. Now I will play some music, like a chill music for you, so you can enjoy while you are trying to assist your team.
Hey, do we have to do it for ourselves or for our members?
For your, because like if you open the was it like the sheet, you already have like the was like the part of yourself and then your team member. So put yourself in the first column, and then after that you can follow it with your member. Okay.
I have a doubt. So, what if we feel that we have a mix of different communication styles? Because I think I am an influencer type, but different, but I have some qualities from other communication styles as well.
Good question. Like what I said before, it's put something that more into like was it like describe you the most, because like what I said before, I'm the influencer, but I can be the dominant, but and also I can be like was it like more into data centric or like a steady. So it depends on the situation, but the things that was like fit me the most, it's influencer.
I have a question. Do we copy another sheet to put our members, or do we just put a chosen member in the certain sheet?
Because I already give you the sheet, and then the sheet is consists of a lot of column, so you can like write down all your member in there.
Okay. Do we just pick one?
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Maybe you can pick like two, like yourself, and then two members on it.
Thank you.
And the rest you can be done after this session. Okay, so I will play music. I will give you like maybe like 10 minutes to assess yourself and your member. Okay.
Can you please slow down the music? It's kind of distracting.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you, Kadi.
If you're done, please let me know so I can proceed to the next slide, okay? Okay, so some people ask me about how they can assess their members. So let's do it by your intuition, okay? And I will give you what's like the next instruction after this to verify these kind of things. Yeah.
So in that personal note, my personal note to deliver effective communication, should I write on the basis of their communication style, or should I write on how I generally do that?
In the second one, like communication style is more into like you try to assess your member like what kind of their communication style by your intuition, and then after that in the next column you can put like okay by because like this person having this kind of communication style, maybe after this when I communicate with he or she, I will do this. You get the point?
So based on their personal communication style, right? Not based on how I generally do it right now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, so because most of the people was it like already done with the tasks, So, okay, one thing that really cool with this kind of tools is because I believe that let's say in here was it like this APC is the delegates is more into like the LCEB, isn't it? Like the concept of LCP and also LCVP. And I believe that in this session there are a lot of LCP and also LCVP. So the thing that you can do maybe in the next EB meeting, you can was it like make it as a session in your meeting or like a check-in question. So you can try to validate everyone's communication style, and also you will get the clarification on it. So maybe like for me, when it comes to me, it becomes the very fun activities with my team because what is it like I try to guess their communication style, and I will ask them to clarify it one by one. And then I don't know like but that kind of activities will make me have a better understanding with my team personalities. Okay, and then I hope that you can utilize this kind of exercise really well with your team. And last but not least, like what I said before, I've been like 6 years in ISAC, and then I take five different team leaders roles in ISAC. And was that the things that I always believe in communication is what makes a team become a strong team. I believe that the key of a success team is on the communication. And to be really honest, when I become the LCVP and I need to choose my team member, my biggest consideration is not their ability or their skill, but on how they can communicate with me really well, or I can communicate with them really well. Because was it like I believe that skill, ability, capability, and so on can be delivered by training, by education, and so on. But when you uh, find the was like a bottleneck on the communication, it will be very hard for you to lead your team. So that's why I hope that you can assess your team member condition by how's the communication happen in your team, to avoid the was it like the misunderstanding that can lead into like a storming or everything. But but in another hand, storming is something that really normal in one team. The most was it like the precious one, or the things that you need to put more concern in how you can communicate this kind of condition, I mean like a stormy condition, into something that become a space for everyone to be open to each other, so you can know your team member better. And the last from me, I believe a great leader is not only someone that can was it like a produce a beautiful words, or can make a good order or good direction to their member. But for me, great leader is someone that can listen more to learn more. So by this kind of thing, you can understand your team member better, and you can be a great leader. So I think that's all from me. Thank you very much, and see you in the next
Thank
session. Don't
you.
forget to
Thank you, Kak
fill the feedback
Adi.
form.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Adi.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Adi.
Kak
Kak Adi.
Adi.
Thank
Adi.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Sisi
The
Adi.
next session will
Good
start
afternoon.
at
Yeah, Adi.
Thank you, Adi.
5:10.
Thank
So
you.
So
you
Thank
guys
much,
you.
gonna
Adi.
you guys gonna have 10 minutes to take a rest. Oh no,
Mhm.
7 minutes, only 7. Okay, 5:10.
Okay, thank you so much for the reminder.
Okay, guys. See you.
Bye. Thank you,
Thank you.
guys. Don't
Bye.
forget with the
Bye.
feedback form. Bye.
Thank you very much for
Bye.
that session. It's really good.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Adi.
Bye, guys.